Gentleman yields back. The Select Committee should be in charge of all funding decisions in the United States Congress. Mr. LaHood is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank all the witnesses for being here today. President Xi Jinping has been quoted often advocating for China to have dominant global market power over core technologies and sectors, including artificial intelligence, semiconductors, critical minerals, renewable and new energy such as solar and EV batteries. Of course, this has been done through initiatives such as Made in China 2025 and the 14th Five-Year Plan, whether it through the heavily subsidized state-owned enterprises that obviously don't play by the same sets of rules and standards as their competitors, or blatant attempts to steal IP and data collection and transfer requirements, or force joint ventures and partnerships with Chinese entities, the CCP appears to be willing to do whatever it takes to gain advantages anywhere it can. Mr. Wolf, you've talked about, quote, technological sovereignty and decreasing our reliance on China, especially when it comes to these critical technologies. In your view, how much of our current problems we face on this issue stem from the United States generally getting in our own way through regulations and politics, et cetera, or do we really need to look at this sector by sector?
In some cases, it is sector by sector, but writ large, I would say that quantity of technologies is in form its own quality. We want a million flowers to bloom. We want lots of startups. We want lots of competition because that's how you get better and better technology. That's what we had over the Russians during the Cold War I. Nobody bought any Russian products except for a MiG fighter jet and an AK-47. It was U.S. competitive products that won. So we want a million flowers to flourish, lots of technology, lots of competition. As it relates to the idea of technological sovereignty, this is really in two forms. The first is making sure that the companies that we're investing in and our existing strongest companies are not solely dependent on a single supplier. And in many cases, as we've heard, whether it's batteries or certain other key components, China has been very strategic over the past decade plus of securing the raw materials and metals and rare earth minerals to be able to not only capture them, but then assemble them and make the world dependent upon them. So diversifying into allied nations is important. That's going to take time. It's a complex issue. That's number one. The second piece of technological sovereignty is making sure that our peer country allies are actually sourcing and choosing American technologies. And there are lots of instances where I would see China actually making great headway in wanting to export their technology and successfully doing so. And those countries are going to have to ask themselves a question. What kind of country do you want to be? Do you want to be one that is free and technologically sovereign and independent, or do you want to be one that is dependent on the CCP?
Thank you for that. You've also talked about the morality of doing business with China and the moral dilemma of doing business with China. I'm wondering if you could define that or explain that a little bit more, and then give us some examples of where countries or entities have rejected the CCP based on that morality doctrine.
I'll start with the latter because it's really increasingly few and far between, and I'd like to see more of it. Without naming names, there are celebrities, there are actors, there are entertainers, there are lots of people who understand the economic value of being able to sell into China. And I believe that's why many investors went in there over the past decade, and rationally. As it has become evident of the nefarious and insidious and suppressive means that the CCP has, people have to revisit that. And so when you see an actor taking a knee and speaking in Mandarin for calling Taiwan a country, or you see athletes refusing to criticize foreign human rights injustices, it is great to want people to sit in the seats. It is great to want people in the theaters. It is great to want people in the arena sitting down. But as an influential American, you also have to be standing up for what makes us great, and that is our moral righteousness over the rest of the world, doing the right thing.
Thank you. I yield back.